And then since we have some guests today, it's a small enough group. I think it would be great for us to go around and introduce ourselves. I will start. I'm Catherine Soto Vasquez. I am with SB Act, and I have a few other team members here. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Eric Meyer. I'm also at SB Act with Catherine, and I help run the neighborhood navigation centers.
I'm Lyndon Rank, and I'm the operations manager for SBI.
And then Lucille, if you want to maybe go in and introduce yourself.
Sure. Hello, my name is Lucille Boss, and I'm the encampment response coordinator for the County of Santa Barbara.
And then, Liz, I don't know if you've met Charlie or Lieutenant Katsapis yet.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Charlie Katsapis. I'm a lieutenant with Santa Barbara Police Department, and I manage our co-response team and our community outreach teams.
And then we have, as Liz mentioned, we have a couple of service providers here on the call. If CityNet, you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina. I'm a caseworker with CityNet in South County. Apologies for getting on the call late. We just came from Tarzana, but yeah, just happy to be here. We do local outreach in the city of Santa Barbara. We also cover the freeway and railroad corridor, as well as Goleta area.
And then we also have Good Samaritan.
Go ahead, Fernando.
My name is Fernando Silva. I work with Good Samaritan outreach team here for the Santa Barbara County, as well as specifically Santa Barbara and Carpinteria and Goleta area.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anais Diaz. I am the outreach program manager for Good Sam, and I'm in charge of Santa Barbara County. So we have teams in Santa Maria, Lompoc, Ivy, Goleta, Santa Barbara, and Carp.
And then Pat.
Hi guys, my name's Odin. I'm the outreach specialist for PATH Santa Barbara. We do local neighborhood outreach for PATH and Waterfront outreach. Good to be here.
And then our wraps are hosted and open to the community. So we have a couple of business representatives and I think maybe general residents as well, if you'd like to introduce yourselves. Robin, did you want to?
Sure, I'll go first. My name is Robin Elander. I'm the executive director for downtown Santa Barbara. Thanks, everybody.
Enough going in order. I'm David Beaver. I'm an interested citizen.
Hi, I have laryngitis, so I can't really speak, but I'm an interested citizen.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. So our wraps, before we get started, I just want to do an introduction of how our regional action plan meetings run. So we do host them regionally. So we do work with the East Side region of Santa Barbara, and then we did combine the regions of State Street and Waterfront. And so today we will be discussing the State Street area and the Waterfront area. And we recently restructured the meetings where the first portion of the meeting is open to the public as they have been, so that doesn't change. And that's where we just do those quick updates where we want to, share any new news in terms of homeless services, do some general updates from the teams, and just hear from the community. It's an opportunity for members to join and just let us know what they're seeing. If there's businesses on State Street that are, having more impact than others, different areas that they're seeing encampments, or if there's just individuals that they're interacting with that they're concerned that they want to bring to the table, use the space for them to share that with us. And then the second portion of the meeting is a closed session, and that's where we're able to, with the providers on the call, able to discuss those needs in a more detailed level. So if we do need to get into case conferencing about specific individuals and what referrals need to be made, we're able to do that. And then we're also, to complement, the Zoom meeting, we try to get out and about every once in a while. So once a month, we host neighborhood walks, again, alternating between different regions. And it's pretty much everyone on the call, and it's open to residents as well. And that's just really allowing us to meet in person, but then outreach is able to connect with people that are unsheltered along the walk and just make those connections, as well as we stop by businesses along the way and check in with them to see what they're seeing. So if they're not able to attend the Zoom, at least they're aware that we're there. We give them access to the Zoom call as well as other sources. We have a homeless services directory dedicated to the city of Santa Barbara. So that's just kind of like a 2-sheeter that really shows, phone numbers that people can call for extra support, how to access behavioral wellness services, things like that. And so it's just a good check-in for all of us to have. So that's kind of the structure of our regional action plans. And so today, before we jump into some of the general community concerns, we do have CityNet here, and they're going to be sharing because this is new. Even though right now we have multiple outreach teams, which is amazing. We now have extended evening and weekends outreach, which is the first for the city of Santa Barbara. And it's newly launched. So, it's still, CityNet is here to give us more details. So I will pass the mic if Christina, you want to go ahead and jump in.
Yes, thank you, Catherine. Yeah, we'll be operating in the city of Santa Barbara, like Catherine mentioned, during the evenings and weekends, as well as just Monday through Sunday. So we'll have full coverage every single day of the week. We'll have 2 teams of 2 patrolling, altering schedules to make sure that we're even, and making sure that the staff's mental health is also a priority. So yeah, we're excited. We just did our first weekend trial this past week, and we're going to continue it. So far, it's been a success. I think it's been great to see the different faces that we don't typically encounter during the regular business hours. So yeah, we're also going to be checking in with the businesses on State Street as well, who are impacted by these incidents. Sometimes that I know that PD can't immediately respond to. So we're hoping to alleviate some of that effort as well and provide support. So yeah, like Catherine mentioned, we're starting slowly. We're rolling it out and kind of testing the waters and just being more visual about and cautious about what we're noticing, and yeah, just reporting back to our teams and making sure that we're all taken care of as well.
Are you able to share the specific days and hours?
Yes, my connection might break, so let me know if it's, but specifically we're operating Monday through Thursday from 7:30 to 6 p.m. With the Thursday being an overlapping shift. Thursday through Sunday operating as well from 11:30 to 10 p.m. So weekends have full coverage, including night.
And then Liz, I don't know if you had anything to add from the city's perspective on the new contract.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first, we're super excited. We've been working on this for quite some time, so it's been really great. Some of the stuff that I heard about that happened this weekend, and actually tomorrow, early evening, I'm joining the outreach team with Barbara. We're going out with the team to kind of see them in action and see how what State Street looks like at night, as opposed to during the day. And I'm looking at it from the perspective of an outreach worker, as opposed to usually when I'm out and about on State Street, I'm trying not to think about work. So it'll be nice to look at it from that lens. But I don't know if Christina mentioned it, because I was switching audio devices, about the rapid response line. Was that mentioned?
She didn't know.
Okay, we'll be releasing it once CNET has their the situation, the situation on the ground better settled, we will have a rapid response line that people in the service area can call CityNet if there's an issue where they need help. Right now, we will be giving that number to PT, the watch commander, and the patrol officers that are working in the evening, but they can call them if they need that. Should be better handled by service providers as opposed to PD. But CityNet was able to de-escalate just a few things already on Friday or this last weekend when they were out and about. So having that presence of somebody that has the ability to de-escalate or has those relationships and can say, hey, let's go get you something to eat if you're, rather than having an episode on State Street or the waterfront, if they can divert them somewhere else. This is really exciting. So yeah, Charlie, I'll get you that phone number. We just barely got it yesterday, so we'll use. But yeah, we'll be phasing that in once we have a better handle. Right now, CityNet also is identifying places where they can park and be in strategic locations so that they have quick access to get in and out of their car and be within certain distance of town so they can quickly respond to things. So they're mapping out those kind of things. We're also talking with our downtown parking people to find out like what parking lots are heavily populated, where people kind of tend to start congregating in the evenings. So I think that's about it.
And then another kind of newer contract that CityNet has is now they have contracted beds at Path, the shelter here in town. So that'll also be a lot more streamlined as they're engaging with individuals and being able to refer them to those beds.
Yep, and currently Path has 2 of those beds open for the City of Santa Barbara beds.
And then,
which CityNet already knows that because they call in daily.
Lucille, not to put you on the spot, but I don't know if you wanted to mention the other contract that CityNet has with Path for the surf region.
Sure. So the county was awarded the first round of California encampment resolution funding dedicated to the transit corridor. And with that, we were funded $1.5 million for interim housing. So a third of that went to 12 beds at Path that are available for any folks moving from the transit corridor. And right now, 4 of those beds are full. So 8 beds are open for folks from the transit corridor.
Thank you. Go ahead, Robin.
Thanks. Not to further put you on the spot, Lucille, but I'm wondering if you could share, I understand there was a major development in terms of for projects similar to Dignity Moves, if not specifically Dignity Moves for the rest of the county, and how that might affect all of what we're working on. Can you speak to that and kind of the timing around those issues?
Sure.
Or that development?
Sure. Can I also, sorry, before you jump in, Lucille, I will say, Robin, next for our next all-call wrap, we are having Kimberly Albers with the county and Matt Wheatley. Is it Matt Wiley? Riley, thank you, from Dignity Moves presenting on just that. Oh, so great. I mean, go ahead, Lucille, if you want to just do like a quick overview and then.
Sure. So yeah, very excited that we've seen the positive community impact of Dignity Moves in downtown Santa Barbara. And so we are expanding that to other sites around the county. We've been able to move the fastest on county-owned sites, which I think cities find that the same experience. And so we presented to elected leaders, well, to the Board of Supervisors a couple of weeks ago, and then to the Elected Leaders Forum last week to share some of the upcoming projects. So I think that the one that was especially highlighted that's in the works is Hope Village, and that'll be in the Santa Maria area. And then one that's at the La Posada property. So it's between the old juvenile hall and the Creekside restaurant. And there are a number of encampments there right now. So we'll have another one of those kind of villages with the cabins in that area. I think those are both coming online ideally this year, as long as we can move forward. And there were a couple of other spots that were also identified and presented to the board. It's still pulling up the exact addresses for me right now. But really excited, especially in Santa Maria, we were able to collaborate with Dignity Health to get, and also to get some CalAIM supports, and with Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley to get some youth beds or youth units in there. And Good Sam, I believe, is doing the operations. So we're really excited to see that come online. And it's, for folks who aren't familiar, it's right next to the Betaravia Government Center. So the county supervisors in North County were really strong advocates for that. They said, we're going to be looking right outside of our office windows every day, just to, to keep an eye on it. I think that's the community concern, but I think because just like in Santa Barbara, the people who were sleeping in like the business stores or on the benches now and in the parks now will instead be inside and getting the services that they really benefit from in that safe space. Is that what you want to know, Robin?
Thank you so much.
And then I wanted to mention we have our next walkabout scheduled, and it is going to be March 2nd, which happens to be, I believe that's a Thursday. Let me double check my calendar.
It is.
Okay, I was having difficulty. So that'll be Thursday morning at 8:30 to dedicated to the Upper State Street region. So, and I'll be sending out an email invitation to our other partners. I've already created like a calendar invite for outreach teams, so they're aware of it. And then we'll probably after that discuss the next walkabout being focused on either downtown again or on East Beach. So yeah, so now since we have a couple of interested residents, and Robin, you're on the call, if anyone has anything that they'd like to bring up to the group in terms of areas downtown or on the waterfront, any individuals of concern that you're just wanting to bring to our attention, you can go ahead and do that now.
Sure. Yeah, I have one area of concern. I met with a tenant at the building complex, office complex that's next to California Pizzeria. It's a three-story complex there at 905 and 903 State Street. They've experienced a number of individuals who are what they described as living space behind the building. So there's the parking garage behind there. I believe the intersection there is Carrillo and State Street. It's closest to that. So California Pizzeria is the front side, and then the back side is the parking garage. And there's kind of a large plaza there with planters. And then the back side has a porch area. That's been a space that they expect a number of people doing drugs. They use the words shooting up and sleeping there, and then sometimes getting into the building and sleeping overnight. They address this with their landlords, and they're not really doing anything about it. And they've asked to get security cameras and more. And so I think we collectively could put a little bit of pressure on the landlords to be a little bit more supportive of the kind of totality of the space. They have a security company that does come in from time to time. But what the tenant had shared, who happens to be a lawyer, is that there's not much they're doing except just coming in and then leaving. They're not asking the people to leave or things of that nature. I don't believe they have a police authority letter. So I'm going to be in contact with the landlord, but I wanted to just share that this is, I guess there's about between 3 and 5 people that have been frequenting that area. I'm not sure if they're on the kind of frequent flyers list per se of folks that you've been interacting with, but it's just a place that I would love your, it's hiding more, so it's not right on State Street. So there are people that do hang out in front, is what they've been having more concerns with the people behind the building. So this is catty corner with like the marshals and that space.
Robin, by any chance, did they mention a like time of day when people were seen in that area most frequently, especially in that corridor that behind the building that you're explaining?
More so after dark, so over in the evening and then overnight and then the early morning.
Okay, that's good to know. We have since today's Thursday, we have our evening and night shift happening as of right now. So I'll let our team know so that they can check it out tonight. Hopefully between 8 o'clock, if that's a good time.
That should be good. And then I'll put you in touch with the person who told me about it, because he probably would be willing to describe and point out more issues. But his name is JD Hankey, who has an office on the 2nd floor of the building. So I'll put
Yeah,
the
that would be
information
great.
in the text in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Robin.
I know the exact area you're talking about. I think it's off of Cannon Perdido Street. I know exactly. We'll have our community action team, the bike team, go out there as well. We'll take any action on like obvious criminal behavior, but we'll also allow the service providers to do their thing as well. And so, but we'll definitely add that to our list of focus areas and be more proactive in that specific area.
Wonderful. And lastly, the tenant JD had shared that one of the gentlemen has tried to get help and services repeatedly, but he's relapsed recently in terms of his drug use, and so is causing more erratic behavior. So I can get his name too, because I think he's probably in your system, and share that with you guys.
And Robin, we'll also go out there. This is on Ice with Good Sam. We'll try to go out there during the daytime and see if we can catch people.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, if
so
we
much. I'll just
can identify who they are, we can definitely case conference them.
Oh, can you say that again, Liz? I didn't hear. Kind of cut off.
Sorry, I
Thank
was
you,
just saying that if we
Susan.
can identify who they are, we can case conference them.
Okay. I was going to mention before Susan hopped off, just because Robin mentioned like a list. And so we do try to, as we work through these regional action plans and the walkouts, we're starting to develop a more specific by name list for each region. And then identify those top 5, maybe 10 individuals of the highest needs, so then that we can collaborate amongst all the organizations and really just brainstorm how we can support them. And there's a lot of individuals have high needs, or they've already come across a lot of barriers when accessing services, for different reasons, not being as successful with placement or engaging in services. So just wanting to be able to talk through all of those options. We have still a few minutes in this first portion, if anyone, or even, maybe if there's no other areas of concern, we can hear from outreach of just some work that we've done in the last week in supporting State Street and the Waterfront area.
Hi, everybody. I can go first. So yeah, CityNet, we've been transitioning to our new schedule for the to cover the evenings and weekends. So this past weekend, my partner Melissa and I covered the State Street region on Sunday. And it was interesting. I feel like we've been able to cover a good portion of State Street during the day, but we actually were able to go into the lots and see more activity and in the alcoves for people who are actively setting up to go to bed. We did get kind of an interesting comment from somebody that we are very familiar with and have built rapport with, and they mentioned that it's gotten to the point where businesses are actually aware that some people are sleeping in front of their locale, and that's sometimes verbal agreement between the business and the person sleeping in front, that as long as they keep it clear and that they're out of there before 7 a.m. It's pretty okay. We're still offering shelter as much as we can because we've gone in. We got one person from the area between Montecito and Bath to consider shelter over the weekend. So I think it's been interesting to catch people at that time of the day because they're not really used to seeing outreach providers at that time. So yeah, as of right now, I think it's just gaining more familiarity with the people that we see at that time of day, as well as the Waterfront region. Quick update on that. We got to kind of explain the city's concerns with that corner of Milpas and Cabrillo, and the people were there were very understanding. They seemed to know exactly who was causing a concern, and since then, I think the area has been pretty sparse. People have kind of moved along from that corner. But yeah, we're still out there offering shelter as much as we can to everybody that we see. And thankfully, I feel like with the night being a little colder, I think it's making people reconsider their idea of shelter. So we've seen that these past 2 weeks, and yeah, we're just thankful that people are recognizing it.
And then Robin just put in the chat another area of concern, the Metro Fiesta 5 area, 916 State Street next to the old Good Cup. I know that was a
area.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of us are aware of the family of 3 that's on kind of downtown State Street. I believe they got that bench that was in that area. I'm not sure that this is kind of true, but they've since then moved their kind of spot kind of down the street. But there's kind of the same crowd that hangs around them as well. But one of those 2 are not really very interested in services at the moment. That would be kind of potentially a more intense case conference. But
Okay, yeah, no, we can definitely talk about, I think from an earlier discussion, the family was brought up, so that's probably something that we'll bring up during the case conferencing, and then you can share what you know about those other individuals as well.
Yeah, I wanted to add to Fernando's point with that region and the individuals who are a little resistant to services. We actually were able to touch base. I think Liz met them as well during one of the State Street walkthroughs. So yeah, we thanks to Fernando, there was actually an incident yesterday that he was able to address and take care of right away. So I think it's been great collaborating on State Street and just being able to notice the same individuals that both our agencies are aware of. And yeah, I'm happy to also case conference about that, the individual directly in front of Fiesta 5.
All right, we're at that half-hour mark, and so I do want to give everyone that opportunity. If there's just any other things that you'd like to mention at this time. I know Rich Block, you hopped on a little bit later, but we did get an update from CityNet about their new outreach schedule for the evenings and weekends. So I don't know if maybe, Christina, you just want to mention that again for some of the people that joined us a little bit late.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so CityNet is expanding our general outreach to include night times and weekends. So we'll be patrolling kind of the general downtown area between Alameda Park down Chase Palm to Pershing Park and then back up to Mitchell Terrena. So it's kind of a grid. And yeah, we'll be focusing on that region specifically from Monday through Thursday between 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m., as well as Thursday through Sunday from 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. So yeah, we're just extending our general outreach in that focus area of downtown. We'll also be touching base with businesses, and we will provide at a later time to service providers an on-call direct line where kind of non-emergency situations can be addressed to CityNet in terms of like de-escalation and also just general outreach for anybody in that general area. And yeah, we're excited. We're slowly rolling it out and just preparing our teams to yeah, be in that general region, be visible. And then something else to know is that we'll be within a 10-minute walk from our vehicles at all times. So if there ever is a concern, feel free to, when that line becomes available to the service agencies, feel free to call. Yeah, and we'll be on call and just excited to start this new process.
No other concerns. Rich, I don't know if you have anything in terms of the region around the zoo. No pressure. If not, then we know outreach is out there.
Yeah, we have a couple of encampments that show up, but nothing that's been permanent. Certainly, we had a resident of the bench that was located outside the zoo at the trolley stop. And unbeknownst to us, the city went ahead and removed the bench. So that kind of changed the dynamics of that. But other than that, we haven't had anything permanent that we've noticed.
Right. Well, that is good news. Alrighty then. And so yeah, just a reminder, we have our Upper State Street walkabout taking place on March 2nd from 8:30 to 10. And for Upper State Street, and we'll be meeting at the 7-Eleven there across from Gelson's Marketplace. I will be sending out an email to the group. So anyone that's interested, businesses or residents that are wanting to join are able to. And then we have our all call wrap meeting next week on, 1 second. Trying to do multiple things at once. I cannot. Next week on the 15th at 3 p.m. And Robin, I was going to email you to the agenda so you can help spread the word, since we are going to have the county present and Dignity Moves on the call about the interim housing beds and their initiative. So thank you for being here. If you're not a service provider, you'll have to hop off the call now. Oh, and then sorry about that. Really quick, Landon, if you want to just go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, there's the Santa Barbara Public Library is hosting a series, the Book to Action series, focused on housing and homelessness this year. So if you're interested in joining us, going to be reading through a couple really great books and hosting some really interesting discussions with city partners and others about how we address these big issues. So.
Thank
I'll
you.
be there tonight. Thank you.